Okay, I'm back. I had to. Oh man, was my camera cover? Dang it. Well, I am new to this. It's figuring it out. All right, back to where I was. R slash. Excuse me. Here we go. Back to where I was. R slash blue sky skeets. Not a liberal, trans, gay, or immigrant, homegrown. What we know about the Charlie Kirk alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, so far: white, straight, male, Christian, Republican, conservative background, Second Amendment supporter, experienced firearms user, a good son, 22 years old, outside the murder law abiding. Yeah, I mean, even if he was a Second Amendment supporter, experienced firearm user, a good son, I mean, clearly it wasn't. His age, his gender, his race, none of that matters. None of that means anything. And he's not a Republican. You can claim he's a Republican. Even if he has a conservative background, it doesn't mean he hasn't been radicalized and changed and made a decision. I mean, you can't even say change. Like, we don't know if he was any of those. As far as we do know, he was a liberal, left wing. That's what I think we do know. So this was 2 days ago. Nancy Mace quickly went from it's the radical left to we'll pray for him. Lame-o mental gymnastics could be an Olympic sport for Republicans. Yeah, that's the pot calling the kettle black there. Mental gymnastics, that is you guys. You guys have been doing this. That's all you guys have been doing is mental gymnastics to try and make something true that isn't. And Nancy Mace, I mean, it is the radical left, and then to say we'll pray for him, that's a Christian value. You're supposed to pray for your enemies. We're taught not to hate, even if somebody does something terrible. We're not, it's just something they don't understand. I think the left doesn't understand. The anti-religious type people, they don't understand. They think it's okay to hate. I don't know where I'm going with that. Moving on. Her getting mad at the guy that asked, by your logic, weren't the shootings of Democratic legislators in Minnesota owned by Republicans? Was amazing in real time to watch her try to deflect and move goalposts. I haven't seen. I don't know about all that. I haven't seen the. I don't know much about that, but even, and I've heard people comparing the assassination of that judge or politician, whoever it was. Yeah, the politician. And the claiming the right doesn't care. And then in the Nancy Pelosi thing, it's like her husband, and it's like those are two vastly different scenarios. First of all, Charlie Kirk was assassinated in front of millions of people, at an event. It's like, yeah, we care about it differently, a lot differently, and especially because Charlie Kirk was a good, genuine person. He wasn't, I don't care for Nancy Pelosi, and I'm sure she's corrupt. She's made tons of money. Like it's just completely different. The comparisons are so different. Anyways, yeah, they're talking about something I haven't seen, so let's close that. Oh, you think these facts are going to derail the narrative? I guarantee you some folks are saying he's Antifa because one of his engraved bullet casings said, catch fascists. Yeah, I mean, he probably was Antifa. I mean, didn't this thing say he was a anti-fascist statements? Wouldn't that make him Antifa? Anyways, they're mad he's not brown and gay, so they're going to fixate on the engraving and ignore everything else. Well, he's gay, so There's that. And we don't care. I could care less if he was brown, white, or whatever else. I don't care what his race is. It doesn't matter because we're so obsessed with race. You think us on the right? You think we're obsessed with race, and we would actually care. We don't care what race somebody is. It doesn't matter. It's how you behave. It's who you are as a person is what we care about. It's not your race. It's not these superficial things that you guys make it out to be. You know, even gay. Like, I don't care if somebody's gay. I don't care if somebody's black, white. I don't care about any of that stuff. I care about who you are. I care about how you act towards me, how you act in public, how you act to everybody around you. That's what I care about. They really want him to be trans. I don't think he's trans, but his boyfriend is. The engraving was a lie. I don't think so. It was 2 days ago. I admit I'm not a gun guy, nor do I have much experience engraving, but man, those were a lot of words to put on some casings. That was my thought. If you read this, you are gay, lame-o, and oh, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao seemed pretty wordy for a 30-06 casing. Let's click. They want him to be every boogeyman they've conjured up. We don't want him to be anything. We want the truth. That's what we want. Whatever the truth is, that's what we want. We want justice for Charlie. That's what we want. We do not care about all the things you guys are claiming we care about. We don't. We just want justice. We want accountability. And we want accountability for how you guys on the left have been acting and reacting and the disgusting, vile things you've been doing and saying. And the blood is on your hands on the left. You guys have radicalized the country and divided us and polarized us like nothing before. And this is only going to get worse if this kind of stuff doesn't stop. This type of mentality they have. I'm sick and tired of it. That's part of the reason I started this channel. I'm so sick and tired of it. And I'm really inspired by Charlie Kirk with everything he's done and seeing him get killed for speaking the truth and wanting to have open discussions really bothered me. It, wanted me to step up and put my hat in the ring and be a part of the movement in any way I can. And I'm starting somewhere with these videos, with a channel. I'm tired of where our country's going. I have kids and I want the country to be a safe place for my kids. I want our country to be strong, powerful. I want us to be connected together, as one nation, as we should be. Anyways, I'm sure the AI images of him in a dress aren't far away. These MAGA folks will eat it up. Yeah. Go check r/conservative and you can see them do exactly what you described in real time, LOL. I might have to check that out. I'm curious what they're saying. I stepped over for about 5 minutes, and all they whine about is the left does this and the left does that. What the hell ever happened to taking responsibility for your own actions? Who told those people that they get to make everybody's choices for them? I keep seeing this right-wing nut job threatening to kill people on the left. Where the hell are the feds in this garbage? Now, I haven't heard any of that. I don't know if that is happening. That's not good. We do not need to fall into the trap of threatening to kill anyone or going out and committing acts of violence. We do not need to do that. I advise people not to do that. Charlie Kirk wouldn't want that. He would want us to keep beating them the way he was and the way we've been beating them for years now because it's working. Things get worse before they get better. I hope, anyways. But we do not need to stoop to their level on the left and threaten or go out and commit any violence. That's the last thing we need to do. We don't need to give them more ammunition. We don't need to give them anything. Don't even give them an inch. Kill them with kindness, words, not anything other than that. And that's the only way we win this culture war is through discussion. Obviously, unless we go to some crazy civil war, that's a whole nother thing. I hope we don't, but we have to keep beating them with ideas, better ideas. Let's read these replies on that post. They're just talking about stuff I'm not worried about right now. Already been hearing he was raised right. It was the college that radicalized him. People always want to point to one thing, like something is caused by one thing, and it's never just one thing. We're not going to find the one thing that radicalized him. Let's say, like college. It was the college he went to, or it was the social media he was looking at, or it was this or that. Like everything going on in the country is a complicated web of interconnected things that have built up over the years that are causing this. It's the media over the past few years getting more and more unhinged and delusional. It's the social media being more unhinged and delusional. It's the colleges and the professors, and I think I said all this earlier too. Anyways, it's all of that stuff combined over time that does it. And then it's situational. You get a kid who, wherever he is, and he's influenced by his community or the people around him, and then he gets molded into a certain direction. That's what happens. It's not just one thing. Not going to be one simple answer. Let's see what this is. The father, is on r/conservative, I think. The father did the right, but probably a very difficult thing to do if the reports are correct. Fuck, what the hell pushes people this young to go and do something so horrible? Plenty of people right now I can't stand based on their political views, but I wouldn't do something like this. Radical leftist indoctrination, which isn't so radical anymore. Federal senators and Congress people regularly calling conservatives Nazis, fascists, racist, bigots, and a threat to democracy. I believe it is intentional. This is what they want. Yeah, I can agree with this. This is what they want. They want to stoke the flames. They want to divide us. Yeah, I believe with that, the post. Oh, so this is what he says about that post. They're taking things very well in conservative subs. The left is so violent. We need to run them all up and exterminate them. That'll show them how loving and nonviolent we are, end quote. Nobody's advocating for that on the right. They keep, like the trans community does this too. They claim we don't want them to exist. We want to exterminate them. That's not what we want at all. That's not what we have been advocating at all. We don't want to be forced to deny reality. We don't want to force our daughters to have to play sports with males or share a bathroom with them. It's like simple things. It's simple, easy to understand things. But the left tends to do this where they twist the context or they twist things into the framing of how they want it to be. I don't really know. They're delusional. Fun fact, the only prominent U.S. politicians that have publicly called Trump a Nazi are J.D. Vance and RFK Jr. Yeah, I mean, I heard about them calling him that, and I think the context is twisted with that as well. I don't think it was stated quite like how this post is claiming it is. But J.D. Vance admitted, I'm pretty sure he was like, yeah, it was before I got to know him, and he sees him differently now, or something like that. I don't even know if he actually said that, because I'm pretty sure it was not stated in that way. But this is another thing. They love doing this. They love pretending like something was said or done a certain way when it was not. Oh, let's see what this is. Quote, what the hell pushes someone so young to go and do something so horrible? Let's see. Fear of pending doom after learning what motivates the billionaire class, what they want to do, and seeing the lengths they will go to get what they want. Things are changing so fast that everybody is being impacted in multiple ways. All it compounds into a haunting desire to do something to slow anything and everything down, because the outlook is so bad for young people right now that life is prison or capital punishment seems to hold much less pain. I mean, if that's how young people feel, it's pretty sad. But it goes to show how bad social media is, and media in general. I think that's something a lot of people are missing with a lot of the media and social media stuff, is it's not that there's more violence than there was before, or there's more fill in the blank than there was before. A lot of it is we see it more because it's instantly posted on social media now, and then you get bombarded with, let's say it's a crazy thing like the Charlie Kirk thing, and it gets shared over and over and over again, and everyone's seeing it, and then let's say something else happens, and then that's going around. It gives the illusion that terrible things are happening all the time, when that's not necessarily true. But even if young people feel that way, they just need guidance. It's endlessly frustrating to me. They called us Nazis, fascists. It's a left-wing ideology, etc. When we ask them to get vaccines or ask social media companies to remove them being racist and abusive AHS online. They regularly call us communists and Marxists, as if we are responsible for the deaths of hundreds of millions under Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, etc. They called us racists and bigots who support anti-white discrimination. The president himself says these things, yet only we are supposed to be polite and silent and respectful and not state controversial things they have said as proof they are what we say they are. The first part of this is, I mean, that's how we feel, but that's what's happening. That's what's been happening. And that's why the president said these things. I don't know where he's trying to go with that post. But anyways, let's move on. I've been on this one a while. This is r/black people Twitter again. The hateful people can't stand being called hateful. So this is Minutes after former President Jimmy Carter's death was announced, Scott Jennings was on CNN calling him a terrible president with a big ego. He wasn't fired, never apologized. After Paul Pelosi was attacked, Fox News hosts joked about it on air. They weren't fired, they never apologized. After Charlie Kirk was killed, Matthew Dowd said on MSNBC that he was divisive, adding, hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. He was fired after apologizing. Free speech only goes one way. They're all extremely different scenarios and situations, and after Paul Pelosi was attacked, Fox News hosts joked about it on air. They weren't fired, they never apologized. Well, he wasn't killed, first of all. The other thing was, that was weird. That situation was weird. You know, was it not? I mean, and then he's complaining about the guy, Scott Jennings, calling Jimmy Carter a terrible president with a big ego. He wasn't fired, never apologized. Why would he be fired for that? I'm pretty sure it's pretty known Jimmy Carter was a bad president and had a big ego, most likely. I mean, it's not like he was murdered in cold blood and then he said these things. And it's not like Paul Pelosi was murdered in cold blood and then they said some things. You know, both of those situations are extremely different. You know, Matthew Dowd saying hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. You know, it's like victim blaming. And yeah, he should be fired for that. You know, that and what he said is completely different from what the other two said. You're going to sit here and try and compare these when they're so vastly different. It's really frustrating. I can't stand how they do this. They constantly do this stuff and they pretend like these are all the same, yet there were different outcomes because we control things, and I don't know. They're just vastly different, not comparable. Charlie Kirk was murdered in cold blood, and then this guy's going to sit here and basically blame him for getting murdered. Like, come on, Jimmy Carter died of old age. You know, you can say critical things of somebody that was a president, and that should be fine. It's just not comparable. It's not even remotely comparable. Let's see what people say about this post. Like some else said under a different post in the sub, the thing that crowd hates the most is having a mirror placed in front of them. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not a direct reflection. You know, what Matthew Dowd said of Charlie Kirk is nowhere even comparable to what Scott Jennings said. Those situations are vastly different, so it's not even like placing a mirror. Hate ages people fast. Yeah, they're just talking about his age now. They're comparing him to MLK now. The disrespect never takes a break. It's not that we're comparing him to MLK. We are saying that he's our MLK. Somebody who advocated for discussion and respect and good Christian values. You know, that's how we see it. We just see him as our MLK. It's not that we're comparing him to MLK. So, whatever. Dude literally hated MLK. I've read the quotes he said about them. I'm sure you have. Anyways. Oh, I wanted to do some of the people getting fired. Anyways, you know what? We're going to stop here. I feel like I did a bunch of stuff. I just kind of wanted to dive into some of these Reddit posts to give you a glimpse of the mindset, in these liberal stronghold cesspool Reddit. These are not serious people. They want to pretend to be serious, but they're not serious people. They're delusional and pretty far gone, in my opinion. So I don't know. I don't know what we do. I don't know how we break this cycle of escalation. I hope we can figure something out. I really do. I want our country to be strong and thrive, and people have families and feel safe and be able to get along. There was a time when we could hold differing opinions and views and not hate each other. I just don't understand why there's so much hate between the groups. But then, then I go and read some of this stuff, and I can see why there's some hate between the group, when one side is twisting and making claims of the other and then forcing their ideology into your life and world and making it a part of your life. It pisses people off, but yeah, we're fired up on the right and we need to keep this going. This is truly going to change the trajectory of our country. With what happened to Charlie Kirk, it's disgusting what some of the people have been saying, and I'm glad that they're being held accountable. People have been fired, and maybe I'll cover some of that in another video. I gotta get better about doing the research and stuff, and maybe not winging it so much. But if you checked out my video, thank you. Please subscribe, leave a like, or whatever. Do all that stuff. And I'll probably I think I'm going to do a reaction video to Destiny debating something. I saw some clips of Destiny saying some pretty outlandish, nasty stuff. The usual Destiny crap. Can't stand that dude. But yeah, I kind of want to do a reaction video of this debate and just kind of give my thoughts and opinions on it. If anyone cares to hear it. But yeah. Thanks for coming by. I'm politically restarted, and check out my channel another time.